again. It's Saturday morning and we are getting started with another workout. So as promised, we have an all band workout. We're going to be in this blue band the entire time. So if you have one of our favorite bands, these blue hip circles, grab that. If you have any other type of band, perhaps one of the latex or silicone style bands, grab one of those, you're gonna need it. And then a resistance band of some sort. It doesn't need to be a full circle. It can be straight, like a traditional one with handles, or it can be more of a TheraBand style that perhaps is like a thinner, wider type of band. If you don't have any resistance bands, we're using them on the third, fourth, and third exercise here. So free weights would work. They just need to be really light. Definitely not over 5 pounds for the middle exercise, but so 5, maybe a 10, depending on who you are. But it's pretty light on the shoulders here today. The focus is a lot at our hips. So grab your band and we're gonna go ahead and step right into it here. All right, so we're gonna go just above the knees for the entire workout. If you feel like you're not getting enough challenge, you might have needed a stronger band, but you can move that band around a little bit. For a lot of the exercises, as you go lower towards your ankles, it'll be a little bit harder, but if you have one of these blue bands, you're probably gonna wanna stay above your knees. Okay, so we're gonna start here, 3 exercises: lateral step outs, step backs, and reverse flies. If you have a large space, these are those lateral walks here. We showed them in a warm-up video. We're gonna incorporate them into our workout today. So if you have a large space, you can count 10 in one direction, 10 in the other, and I'll probably be done too. If you're in a smaller space, you're just gonna do lateral step outs. So the second exercise is step backs, which is the same thing. So if you guys train with us and you know what you're doing here, those step backs are going backwards moving. So you would do 10 steps, turn around, and 10 steps back if you have large enough space, or maybe it's 5 and 5 and 5 and 5, whatever you wanna do. If you have a very small space, we're gonna go step back and coming in. All right, over and over again. And then reverse fly. Again, the band just never comes off. It's gonna stay on. We'll take our band and we're gonna do the same pull aparts we've been doing in previous videos. So let's crank through these. We're gonna go three rounds through every exercise here. So we've got our step outs to start. Remember, as we do these step outs, you're looking to keep your knee over that ankle. So you don't want to be in here. So as you step, you also want to be aware of what the other leg is. Don't let that leg get pulled in. And if we're sitting back into that nice quarter squat, you should really be feeling those glutes firing. One more. Good, stepping the other way, or working your way back towards me if you're in a large enough space. Woo. Two more. Good, right away into backwards. So if you're staying in that single space, you're really looking to try to push through to a nice full extension here. Extending at your hips, squeezing those glutes as you reach to the back. Not just stepping here nice and small, think big steps. So we're over halfway. I miss Jane right now and her counting. Let's do one more each side to be sure. And break. We're gonna grab that resistance band. Hopefully you feel your glutes. The good news is that even as we do these reverse flies, you should feel those glutes too. So sit into your hips, resist out against that band. Remember that when we resist this band and drive out into it, our feet never should roll. Our toes need to stay on the ground all the way through that big toe. All right, we've got 15 pull aparts here, or reverse flies. One more. Excellent work. So we're going right back to the top. So we've got our lateral step outs. You're either walking or you're stepping with me, really pushing out to that side. Making sure that we're staying low and loaded, that we're never straightening those knees out. All of that weight is going back into our glutes. 3 more. Good. The other thing to mention as we switch sides here is when you bring that foot back in, don't bring it all the way in. You're resisting the band. So you only want to come in until that starting shoulder width stance that you had. I think that's 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Hopefully your glutes are on fire. We're going backwards. Really think about those glutes, pushing that leg and hip straight. Halfway, I think. The other important thing to note is that I do have a little bit of a 45-degree angle as I'm stepping back. I'm not going straight back, but slightly out to the side. One more each. And break, grab that resistance band. We're back on pull-aparts or reverse flies. Here we go, 15 of them. Drive out into that band, keep your toes flat on the ground. Five more. Good, and break. All right, last round through, lateral step outs. Hopefully your glutes are on fire right now. Just standing here, I can feel mine. As soon as I get going, they're firing even more. Think about that mind-body connection here. Make sure that the opposite or stationary leg is staying still. That knee is not getting pulled inside your toes. 3 more. Good, switching sides. I'm sure a lot of you have seen some interesting things online in this safer at home time. One of the things I saw that I thought was actually clever was people who didn't have bands like this were taking old like pantyhose or tights, women's tights obviously, and tying them together, looping them around a few times to make resistance. And break, stepping back. So if you need to get really creative, that could be your option. Three more each side. And break, picking up that band. Reverse flies. Remember that this work is all posterior shoulders, but you should, with this band on, really feel your glutes, especially after all of those step outs. Halfway. One more. And break. Good. All right, now maybe you bring those feet together, shake them out. Good opportunity to get some quick water here. So our next set, first 2 exercises are going to be on the ground. So if you'd like to lay on a mat, grab one of those. Next 2 exercises are going to be standing. This is the one that if you're using a dumbbell, this shoulder abduction and external rotation. So that's this movement here. I have to use a lot of, I don't know, anatomy-based or biomechanical terminology on here, just so that I would remember what it is. So I'm sorry if it just sounds like gibberish to you guys. But we're gonna stand 90 at our shoulder, 90 at our elbow, and we're gonna externally rotate, raising that resistance back up and away. So free weight would work, but it's a very small movement trying to load external rotators at the shoulders, so not a lot of weight is needed for it. Clam shells will be on our side. Glute bridges, if you guys want to make those a little bit more intense, add a weight onto your hips. Really good weight to do is like 25 pounds. And then shoulder abduction, or squat to abduction is actually squatting down. When we stand up, we're gonna raise our leg to the side. So the key here is to not lean over too far. But we'll get up for those last two exercises and then back down to the mat. So, starting with clam shells, you're going to try to keep your body in a relatively straight line. Tucking your knees all the way straight can pose some difficulty and cause a lot of people to get too much extension in their thoracic. So having your knees out in front of where your hips is completely fine. You can hold your head, you can rest your head down, really whatever feels comfortable to you from that perspective. Just make sure that you are not rocking backwards every time we try to clamshell our legs open. And let's make sure that we are keeping our feet together as we do this, that they're not pulling apart when we pull. The movement we want to happen is our knees to pull apart, like a clamshell opening, but a clamshell would be attached at the feet and the hips, essentially. Okay, so we're gonna do 10 on each side. Again, make sure that you're not rolling back every time. That hip should stay pointing straight to the sky. Get 10 aside. And switch. I really like to make a slight pause at the top every time to really make sure that I'm feeling that glute engage each time at the top. If you guys are having trouble and you feel like you're rolling around, or maybe you don't know if you're rolling around or not, just take yourself back against a wall, put the wall flush with your back. It will inhibit you from rolling backwards because there'll be a wall there. And it'll isolate that work into the hip actually opening itself. 2 more. And break, good, glute bridges. Over to our back again. If you'd like a weight, go ahead and throw one on top. I have one built in the form of a child. Making a little pause at the top each time, making sure that you're really driving out into that band. But again, your feet are flat on the floor. Your feet are not rolling, rocking out to the side and trying to open this band up. Halfway. One more. And break. Good, we're standing up. So again, squat and abduction. So get a comfortable shoulder width stance. If your toes are slightly turned out, that's fine too, whatever feels good. We're gonna squat down. When we come up, you're going to get your balance on one leg and lift that opposite leg. The key is that we're not throwing our leg and bending to the side, because now we're producing movement from momentum and from trying to compensate for a different angle. The larger load on your hip will be when you keep your chest upright. So we've got 10 aside here. 2, 3, doesn't matter how high it goes, 4, 5, stay in control of that body, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, switching legs. 1, squeeze that glute, squeeze that core. 2, 4, 6, 2 more, sets of 2, 8, nice tight core, 10, good. Shoulder abduction and external rotation. And again, we're just leaving this band on. So funny story. Earlier when I said we're gonna hold our arm up here, I lied. We're gonna actually hold our arm down here. Abduction is in, or no, I'm right. Oh my God, just shoot me now. All right, a little anatomy lesson so I can review it for myself. Adduction, you're adding to the midline, so it's when you pull things in. So this motion at your shoulder or this motion at your legs. And what we're doing is abduction, which is away. So shoulders go up and then we externally rotate. So if you're using a free weight, you've got 10 on each side. If you're using a resistance band, you're just gonna hold opposite hand below you, down near your hip, whatever feels comfortable, and you're gonna rotate up. Remember, you're in control of that resistance. If you're having any trouble maintaining that movement, put your arm against the wall. Make sure your body line is staying nice and square. One more. Good, we're gonna switch sides. Same setup over here. Two more. Good. All right, going back down for clam shells. Right away into these guys. Remember, let's make that small pause on each side. Halfway. Remember, don't let those hips rock open. One more. Good, switching sides. So for anybody that is like, I can't move my band, or I don't feel it in my glutes, you probably need to go to a lighter band. That's probably too much of a load for you to actually get those external rotators to fire. So a few things you can try is holding those glutes a little tighter before you start the movement. Keep your core tight. Maybe grab a lighter band. Maybe move the band up higher on your thighs to decrease the load. I think we have 4 more. 9 and 10, good. Standing up. So I think for those of you that did hamstring hiatus last week, I've heard from a lot of you. My hamstrings were also sore for about 4 days. But I'm thinking that we might feel something similar from this workout in our glutes. Halfway. I have to say I do appreciate the messages. I think I've said this a couple times, emails and videos, but hearing that you guys are doing the videos is really helpful for me, so thank you. I heard from Amy and Allison and Lisa and Matt. And I've heard from a few people who said they just go out and check the YouTube every day just to see how big my belly's going or getting. I appreciate you guys too. 2 more. Good, nice work. Shoulder external rotation. Now that I've figured out the exercise. All right, here we go. Again, if you need that wall, back up to a wall. Help to keep that elbow from moving around and rising up or down. Make sure you control both phases with this resistance band. You don't want it pulling you in either direction. Good, switching sides. Try to keep that wrist neutral so you're not way back here. Wrist is neutral, put that work and effort at the shoulder. Two more. Excellent. All right, one more time, clam shells. Remember to make that little pause at the top. Keep your core tight. Really feel those external rotators doing the work for you here. One more. Good, switching sides. For those of you that got our email yesterday and had a chance to read it already, we put in a pumpkin patch. Mike is very bored, which is why he's willing to do all these things for me. So feel free to reach out to Mike and provide him with some entertainment. But all we have to do is get the fence around it today, trim a couple trees. We're on to Glute Bridges here, guys. And we won't plant it until May. Remember, if you want to wait here, add one on top of those hips. But at least it's done. And now all I have to do is control the weeds. Squeezing those glutes, driving out into the band. We're halfway here. Abduction. Hopefully your glutes are on fire. Mine sure are. Here we go. 1. Got 10 aside here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That chest upright. 10. Switching sides. 1. Woo. Burn. 2, 3, 4, 5. That chest upright. 6. Resist that urge to lean to the side. 7, 8, 9. Core's got to stay tight. 10. Good. Grab your free weight or your resistance band. External rotations. Lots of control. These aren't done fast. They're done purposefully. Just a little built-in break here for our glutes. One more on this side. Perfect. Watch that wrist. I have a tendency on my left to do a lot of pulling from that wrist. Mind body control here, guys. 5 more. Good. All right, little sip of water. We're going down to our last one. 3 exercises. You are going to want to be near a wall. So you're going to do a wall sit with abduction. That means that we're pulsing out into this band, but we're keeping those feet flat on the floor as we do it. And then we have a squat to hip extension, which instead of abduction this way we just did, extension is this way, similar to the step backs in our warm-up. And then we're finishing with an overhead Y press. So that's going to be with your resistance band or with your free weights. And instead of pressing straight up, we're going to press out into a Y. It is a little bit more effective with a resistance band. I will say if you don't have a resistance band, you could use a towel, you could use a broomstick, just something that you can actually apply some force apart on, activating a little bit in our lats and the posterior of our shoulders. So without further ado, go find that wall. We're sitting down into it, trying to get as close to 90 degrees. Core is tight, head is back. We're driving out for 1, 2. If you take a look at my feet, you'll see that my toes aren't moving. Yeah, I could open the band all the way out here and roll on my toes, but I don't want to. That's getting a false range of motion. Our feet being flat and our toes being down is locking into putting all of that workload into our hips. The other thing to note is that I don't want you to come all the way in here and come to a dead relax. Keep a little resistance on that band. We've got 12, 13, going all the way to 20 here. Make sure you keep weight heavy in those heels too. I don't want you entirely in your toes. 4 more. 1, 2, feel those glutes. 3, 4, 5. Good. Standing up. So this is squat to hip extension. So it might feel a little bit nice stretching those hips out, but to actually complete full extension at those hips, you really have to squeeze those glutes through, straightening the hips out. Otherwise you'll leave a little bit of extension unachieved. So alternating, or we'll stay on the same leg for 10, we'll go together leg. So squat, hip extension. I'm in trouble with my words today. So big thing here is to pay attention to your core. We don't want to arch and try to throw our leg. You should be relatively still through that midsection. So from the side, I shouldn't see a lot of arching or movement, only isolated to that hip right here. 2 more. You've got that same parameter. We're switching legs here. When we're going on to single leg to do this extension, that we're not leaning to the side to try to keep balance, but we're tightening our core, keeping ourselves nice and upright as we do this. Good. 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so resistance band, towel, broomstick, free weights, whatever you have. We're gonna get into a little bit of a quarter squat here. You're going to want to pull out apart on that band. We're pulling out apart on the towel or the bar, the broomstick. If you only have free weights, we're just gonna work regular presses in here. But keep that quarter squat, just loading into those hips, rotating out into that band. So your Y ends out here. You'll see the resistant band wants to pull you in. So you're starting in, pressing out to that Y. Make sure you keep your back neutral. We don't want any arching here as you stay in this quarter squat. So we're at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Excellent work. Putting that band down, we're going back to our wall sit here. If those overhead presses bothered your low back at all, stand up out of that corner squat. Focus on your core strength. We're starting these guys. Focus on your core strength and your foundation as you do that press. Second round through, and one more round after this. We're at 10 right now. Remember, even weight in those feet. Try and keep your whole body back to that wall. 19 and 20, good. Squat with that hip extension here. So going down, reaching that leg back, squeezing your glute to perform that movement, not throwing your leg and arching in your back. If you need a wall to hold on to, we should be right next to them. It might help a little bit with maintaining that balance, keeping your core tight, and achieving that big glute engagement. If you don't have a wall, a chair, back of a couch, we're gonna do 2 more because I think that's right. 1 more. Good, switching legs. So the wall might also serve as a little awareness for you. If you're always leaning closer every rep you do, you're probably not staying upright. That's 6. Woo. 7. 8. 9. Tight core. 10. Good. Grab your band, bar, towel, free weight, whatever it is. Get into that little bit of quarter squat. Keep your core tight. Legs are shoulder width. Here we go, out into that Y. I think this is 10. Really miss Jane. Keep that core tight. We don't want any arching. It's going to load that low back. 2 more. And break. Good. All right, last round, starting with our wall sit. We got 20 here. If you're not feeling the burn, hold that pause for a little bit longer. I'm feeling the burn. 18, 19, and 20. Good. Up off that wall, squat to hip extension. 1. We've got 10 on each side. 2, remember you can use that wall if you need to. Hold yourself steady. Try and keep yourself from leaning. Halfway, this is 6. Squeeze that core. 7. Squeeze that glute. 8. 9. 10. Good, switching sides. This is number 5 here, guys. We're almost done. Keep that core tight. 2 more. Let that glute do all of that raising and into full extension and break. All We've got our Y band presses, or any press, any type of device. Quarter squat, here we go. 15 of these. Make sure we're driving out into that band now that you're in that quarter squat. We're at 10, 5 more. Two more. And boom, you were done. All right guys, so we were banded together today. Good job. I hope you enjoyed the workout. It is supposed to be nice for a lot of today, so hopefully you guys can get outside and enjoy a little bit of sunshine. Tomorrow's supposed to be a rainy day, so soak it up today and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys.